So before the video starts, I would just want to say that yes, I know this is Battlefield 4 footage, but I'm doing these tips so people can get better, ready for Battlefield 1. So there's up-to-date tips, because many tips now are 2-3 years old, and I hope that these can give people a little insight on what they can expect in Battlefield 1 and what can prepare you on how to be a good soldier. So this is my first tip video, and it will be about Battlefield 4, and you're probably thinking, a tip video on Battlefield 4? It's been out for years. There's probably been every kind of tip video that's ever been made. It's for the people that want to get ready for Battlefield 1, okay? And today, this will be about, like, aiming, like improving your aim and how you can get better accuracy ready for when you start playing the new battle. Aiming in Battlefield 4 obviously beats all other skills in Battlefield, obviously. Being able to aim, then you're pretty useless. I mean, you must be really good at tactics, and if you're good at tactics, you've got to be good at aiming, because if you're not good at aiming, you might be good at tactics, but you're going to be useless to your team if you can't get any kills. But I'm going to start off by telling you, like, the basic parts of aiming. Adjust the look sensitivity, so you could, and you should adjust the sensitivity both on consoles and your PC, if you found both, either. And it obviously it determines how quickly you can change where you look and in which direction you want to shoot. So the rules of the thumb are, the higher the sensitivity, the more flexible you will be, but with accuracy it will be more reduced, so it will be harder to pinpoint the person you want to shoot at. A lower sensitivity increases the accuracy, but it makes you move really slow, and you can't react as quick if you get shot from behind or the side or something like that. To put it differently, when your character's turning movements are slow, it's easier to place the sight on the target on the first go, and the perfect setting will vary from different players, obviously. I mean, I like playing on quite high settings, but you might like having it on low. And you might find that, like me, that you have to adjust the sensitivity like slightly down over time. I don't know, you just get used to playing on lower sensitivity, it's weird. So you could start with a low sensitivity and raise it carefully, but I just went straight up to the high one, because you know I'm MLG, obviously. And you've got moving on to the next point, and it's sights. So in Battlefield 4 you've got loads of different sights, and I'm just going to talk to you about the iron sights and the red dot, because they're the only two that I use, really. And it will make you hit your target more accurate, for most people anyway, in case you can't really shoot with sights or anything and you hit fire wherever you are on the map. I don't know, it depends how you play. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So the iron sights is the original sight for every single weapon, and it consists of a back part, like a circle or something, and a front part. The front part is usually a small pin, which is often called a post or a bead. And the red dot sight gives you an aim point in the form of a little red dot. The sight doesn't really magnify, so it's like an extended iron sight with a red dot, so you can pinpoint more accurately where you want to shoot. So if you choose your sight carefully, then it means you'll be able to know which ones you can use with and work with best. Obviously, the holographic and the telescopic, they work better over long distances, while the other two, which I've just spoken about, work better in close distances. Sights that don't magnify, like the two I've just mentioned, it normally forces you to concentrate more on when you want to shoot an enemy who's far away. So if you have a red dot or an iron sight, you have to think about it more. But if you have a telescopic or a holographic, it's a lot easier to pinpoint the enemy. Here are the rules that I play by. So the iron sight and the reflex that don't magnify work best in close combat, obviously, and the sights that do magnify you use when the sight is bigger. Aim point, it doesn't really matter where your enemy's body your bullet hits, because a bullet to the head will do a lot more damage than a bullet in the arm or a leg. Kind of makes sense, really, doesn't it? To put it differently, you'll need to fire less bullets in order to kill a character. You'll save time and you'll save ammo. Headshots do most damage in Battlefield 4, so hits to the upper body follow second, so headshot, then body, and then everywhere else does less hits. So make the habit of aiming for a head of your opponent. It's more difficult to start off with, but you'll get used to it over time. But if you're conscious about the head being the target, you'll find that you take out characters with headshots and increasing pace. Obviously, bragging rights come along with it, so you can just tell everyone how you can headshot anyone from anywhere. Then everyone will have to follow you. You will be their master. Raising your aim, I've done this quite a lot while playing like first person shooters, and along with a lot of other players, looking at the ground while I'm moving around all the maps. So when a hostile showed up, my first bullet got him in the feet, and then it was like up, so feet, then legs, then body. So obviously if he was shooting me in the head, then there's chest, then I'd die first because his bullets do more damage. What I did, and what you should probably do if you look at the floor, is raise your view and your weapon. So constantly, even when you're not aiming or shooting, notice the 4 small lines on your heads up display. So these show up when you're not aiming with your weapon. They're they're reticle. So these 4 lines don't meet, so you'll need to imagine where the center is. This is assumed center is important. It indicates where your bullets are most probably going to hit. Try keeping the invisible center around your opponent's head height. That is what you think will be hostiles' head height when they show up, so kind of like estimate it. And you also need to make sure that you can adjust for elevation changes. So if you're going up ladders, make sure that you put it in the center, or if you're jumping down somewhere, look down. Kind of makes sense. and the point is that you always want to be ready to shoot your opponent in the head, because if your weapon's pointing to the grass when anyone shows up, it will take more time and more expensive adjustments. Expensive? God, it must cost a lot of money to move your gun up and down. I was meant to say extensive. Take a long time. Right, that's what I'm trying to say. Take a long time to move your gun from the floor to their face. And the lead target, this is another point, the bullets in Battlefield 4 have travel time. That means it takes a teeny bit of time from when the bullet leaves your weapon to hit the target. So this won't matter if the enemy is right in front of you, of course, but when hostiles are sprinting across the screen from one side to the other and at some distance, you'll need to consider travel time when aiming. So aim slightly in front of them to cover, so when they take one step, your bullet will fly across ahead of them that one step, but the bullet will go to where they're going. So you need to aim where you think the enemy will land when your bullet hits that point, and not where your enemy is when you pull the trigger. If you fire at the enemy when they're running, so if they're running sideways and you're firing dead on them, the bullet's always going to be behind them because you're firing out of time with their footsteps, kind of thing. This is obviously normally referred to as leading the target, and obviously this kind of goes along with leading the target. It's bullet drop. So all projectiles in Battlefield 4, they're subject to the effect known as bullet drop. Simply put, this means that digital gravity pulls the bullet down towards the floor, and on most weapons the effect is particularly noticeable over long distances. At Sean's range, you can't really see. So what does it mean for you lot? Well, are you shooting a character far away? Then you'll need to place your aim just above your target. The further away the target, the higher above you'll need to place the aim. How much bullet drop you have, you need to consider while aiming, also depends on which weapon you're using, because there are differences from one weapon to the next. It's impossible to give conclusive answers, but since there are so many variables to take into consideration. But here are some rules that can help you along the way. So assault rifles and PDWs, these weapons are usually best used in close range gunfights, as such you'll rarely take bullet drop into consideration while using them. And obviously, next one is shotguns. Just completely forget about the bullet drop. With sniper rifles and marksman rifles, are you planning on using these weapons often? Because sitting far away from your target won't be unusual for you. So obviously, when you're a sniper or you have a marksman rifle, then you sit away from the battlefield and you pick off people when they stray away from their groups and that kind of stuff. So you'll need to consider bullet drop a lot more than if you were to use any of the other weapons on this list. So just bear that in mind when you're being a sniper. RPGs or any other projectile have a larger bullet drop than other weapons because they're heavier, so something along the lines, I'm gonna guess like that anyway. So you need to take it into consideration. Even at fairly short distances, they drop quite a lot if you were to shoot them at a helicopter. I'm gonna give you a little bonus tip here, which you're lucky because only you know about this, and only you who's seen this video knows about this bonus tip. Use a marksman rifle. So the weapon has more than enough power, but obviously the fire rate is low, but you have to aim well when you use it, and if you want to kill off hostiles with as few shots as possible. So to start off with, your character will die a lot. Hell, you might even give up, because I die a lot when I play with the marksman rifle. Try resisting the temptation to switch to another weapon with a higher fire rate, except that you'll suffer for your choice in the first few matches. Obviously you won't be great with this when you first start using it, but you'll get used to it. So focus on keeping your weapon at the right height. Always aim for the head, as your muscle memory builds up, so you'll learn over time to shoot towards their face. Just imagine it's someone you hate, and then you'll shoot them straight in the nose. So you'll get increasingly better. Eventually you'll end up a better marksman than most, with accuracy that you can be proud of. So you'll take your marksman rifle experience to other weapon groups, you'll hit your enemies more often, no matter which weapon you choose. They're the best tips that I can give you for aiming in Battlefield 4 to get you ready for Battlefield 1. And if you have enjoyed this tip video, please make sure you subscribe and leave a like down below, so I know that I can carry on with this. And if you've got any other games that you want to see me make tipped with, then I'll take it into consideration, and I'll see you next. Thank you for watching the video. You made it to the end. Not many people do, to be fair. And if you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Don't just do a thumbs down for a like. That doesn't really matter, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.